Imagine this. You are standing in the rain, watching the final act of a play you know will end in despair. The hero's fate is sealed, a terrible, beautiful ruin. And as the curtain falls, you feel it, a profound, unsettling clarity that feels more like peace than sorrow. You weep in the dark, but you do not leave. You are drawn closer. Now, consider this. You scroll past 100 videos of joy and success, yet you pause, transfixed by the documentary about a sinking ship. You replay the tragic melody, read the poem of heartbreak. We are surrounded by tools for happiness, yet we are compelled to touch the flame of sorrow. Why? Here lies the great human contradiction. We spend our lives fleeing pain, constructing worlds of comfort and distraction. Yet we are irresistibly pulled toward art, stories, and music that wrench our hearts open. This is not a flaw. This is a signal from the deepest part of your psyche. It is a whisper that the easy answers are lies, that the comfort you seek is a cage. What if your secret love for tragedy is not morbid curiosity, but a forgotten instinct? What if this pull is the key to understanding not only art, but your own trapped yearning for a life that feels truly, devastatingly real? The answer lies not in the sorrow itself, but in what it awakens within you, a hidden force we have been taught to fear. The force is existential truth. We are terrified of it. In our daily lives, we wear what Sartre called bad faith, hiding from the raw, unsettling freedom of our existence behind roles and routines. We anesthetize ourselves with what Huxley foresaw: endless distraction, trivial comforts, a superficial pursuit of happiness that leaves the soul malnourished. Tragedy cuts through that. It is a sanctioned catastrophe, a safe container for the truths we otherwise suppress, that life is fragile, suffering is universal, and our control is an illusion. Carl Jung understood this. He saw that we each carry a shadow, the rejected, painful parts of ourselves we try to bury. Tragedy, in all its forms, gives that shadow a stage. It allows us to witness our own deepest fears of loss, failure, and mortality reflected back at us, not as a personal threat, but as a universal drama. Here, in the darkness of the theater, we are permitted to feel the full weight of being without being crushed by it. Nietzsche called this the spirit of the Dionysian, the chaotic, terrible, ecstatic undercurrent of life that rational society tries to repress. Our love for tragedy is a subconscious rebellion against that repression. It is a hungry ghost inside us, starving for substance, reaching for the very pain we flee, because paradoxically, that pain contains a sincerity our curated lives lack. But this hunger has a dangerous consequence. It can be exploited, turning our deepest yearning against us. If this exploration of the shadow resonates with you, subscribe to delve deeper into the hidden architectures of the mind. Your thoughts are vital. Let us know in the comments what tragedies you return to and why. This exploitation is the silent architecture of our modern world. Our innate draw toward tragedy is systematically hijacked, transformed from a cathartic mirror into a passive trap. The 24-hour news cycle feeds on it, offering not communion with profound truth, but a drip feed of curated catastrophe that breeds anxiety and helplessness. Social media algorithms learn this, amplifying personal dramas and societal fractures, because conflict captures our primal attention. We become connoisseurs of other people's pain, scrolling through a digital panopticon of misfortune, mistaking this voyeuristic shock for genuine depth. The neurological payoff is real, a jolt of cortisol and adrenaline that makes us feel alert, alive, but it is a hollow simulation. We are conditioned to consume tragedy, not to integrate its lessons. This is the great perversion, a cognitive bias where we confuse the feeling of intensity for meaning. We witness endless fictional and real-world suffering, yet emerge more numb, not more wise. The profound communal catharsis of the Greek theater has been replaced by isolated, silent scrolling. The consequence is a society that is both desensitized and perpetually on edge, addicted to the spectacle of the fall, yet utterly disconnected from the power that comes from truly understanding it. We see the ship sink 1,000 times, but we have forgotten how to swim, or why we would even want to. This loop drains your capacity for authentic feeling, leaving you a spectator in your own life. But what if you could reclaim that power? The rebellion begins with a radical inversion. Do not turn away from the pull, but step consciously into its current. You must become the author of your own tragic understanding, not a consumer of its shadow. This means seeking out narratives of meaningful suffering, not for spectacle, but for the blueprint of resilience they contain. Study Viktor Frankl, who in the abyss of Auschwitz realized that the last human freedom is the choice of one's attitude in any set of circumstances. His tragedy was imposed. His meaning was not. Here lies the shift, from passive witness to active participant in your own difficult story. This is the archetypal journey of the hero who embraces the descent. It requires you to identify the small, personal tragedies you flee daily, the failed project, the strained relationship, the quiet grief, and instead of numbing them, to examine them with the same reverence you give to art. What truth is speaking through this fracture? This is active integration of your shadow, as Jung prescribed. It is the deliberate courage to stare into the abyss until you discern. As Nietzsche urged, that the abyss is not empty, but filled with the raw material of your own potential. Stop watching the ship sink. Instead, feel the terrifying cold of the water around your own ankles, and recognize it as the element in which you must learn to move. This conscious engagement transforms the destructive force into a formative one. But this leads to one final disarming revelation about the nature of the abyss itself. The ultimate truth is this: the abyss is not separate from you. It is not a void to be feared or filled, but the ground of your own being. Your secret love for tragedy is the homesickness of a soul that remembers, in its deepest fibers, that wholeness requires the acknowledgement of the wound. That light is defined by the shadow it casts. The final paradigm shift is realizing that the tragic arc you are drawn to, the fall, the struggle, the confrontation with limits, is not a deviation from a happy life, but its very architecture. True joy is not the opposite of sorrow. It is what emerges when sorrow has been fully met, integrated, and alchemized into depth. The most profound peace is not found on sunlit plains, but in the quiet solidarity with all things that break and endure. This love is not a morbid flaw, but your psyche's most honest compass, pointing relentlessly toward meaning over mere comfort. So let this haunt and inspire you. You do not love tragedy because you crave pain. You love it because in a world of surfaces, it is a whisper of the deep. It is the unrecognized thirst for a life so authentic. It encompasses the full spectrum of existence, the devastating, the beautiful, and the inextricable truth that they are, in the end, the same thing. Now, go live a life worthy of the tragedies you love. If this final truth has shifted something within you, subscribe to continue this journey into life's most meaningful contradictions. Let the conversation begin. Share your reflections in the comments below, and if this resonated, please like and share.